Hello everyone, I'm out driving what used to be the Element Knightrunner. Now, I'm not sure what to call it, but I received a comment on my IFS2 video about trying the IFS1 in the rear, so that's exactly what I did. It wasn't too hard to do, but it did shorten the wheelbase, so I couldn't use the stock body. I went to this half cab, and I'm not the biggest fan of the look, but it turns out that the servo in the rear was the perfect stand for the 3D printed motorcycle, so that made me feel a little bit better about running it anyway. It's time to go out and see how it performs. I'm going to run a similar course to the one that I did with my SCX-10-2, the last video that I made out here, but I might have to change a few things since this truck works a little different and I'm not sure it will be as capable in certain situations. Made it through that one all right, but this one here, that short wheelbase, will make this more challenging since it can't get as far of a reach, so hopefully I can slide just enough. Wow, that was really close, but I'm up that part. Use a bit of that steering for this one here and drop down. Luckily I don't have a bumper on there, so I should be able to catch some tire, get some grip to pull it out of this hole. Doesn't want to do it super easy though, got to work for it. But now I am going the wrong direction, so kick that four-wheel steer into drive, tighten that turn up, going this way once again. A little bit of a hairy situation there. Just wanting to fall off of that rock, but kept it together and made it through these big ones. The wheelbase ended up being under 12 inches. Didn't get an exact measurement on it, but definitely the shortest one that I've had with 1.9 wheels and tires. These are the 475 Hyraxes, pretty fresh ones too, with anti-foams in them, so I know they work well, but haven't used them on a rig this short or this skinny. This truck is a little bit more narrow than what I typically drive on my SCX-10, so that's something to keep in mind. Might be a little more likely to tip and roll over, but hopefully it will have some advantages too in certain situations. This one I don't think will be an advantage because it has to be so steep to get that front wheel up there. Wow, actually pulled it right up. Let's see if it can continue that. Maybe knock the rears to the side, get some drive. Oh, it's wanting to roll on me. Not sure. It pulls out of it quite well. That was kind of cool there. At first I had this set up on a FlySky GT5 radio so I could use the four-wheel steering on the dial, but that did not actually work out all that well for me because it was hard to get it centered every time and there was a lot of slop in the IFS1 setup, so I went to metal balls in the rear and that seemed to help on some of that linkage anyway. Now I'm on a DX5 Rugged and it is definitely easier to use, but I do wish that I had a 5-position switch rather than a 3-position like I am working with at the moment. Oh, that was nice. Hit that four-wheel steer and hopefully clear this gate. Look at that, it comes in handy there. I hit that gate with the SCX-10, so that is an improvement there, I suppose, but it would be nice to have that 5-position so I could have a 50% range. I do still have independent control over the rear, but the more control, the better, right? This one needs that little bit of speed, pop it up, but maybe use that rear steer to help find some grip there. Ooh, got to cut it off a little bit early and continue on up. I am still getting used to the direction of which the switch makes the rear move. Sometimes I get it wrong, but just take some practice, right? First four-wheel steer rig I've used with this setup anyway, and this line is proving to be a little different with this rig. Typically with a solid axle, that front right will drop down and hook this side, but this one just wants to stay in the air. Having a hard time finding the grip this way, but should still be able to make it work. Another try here, maybe keep some momentum and just keep it rolling. Wheeling through that thing. Still kind of cool, but definitely different than with a solid axle, that's for sure. Now for a bit of a downhill test, if I can get this set up just right. Not too easy to get it up there, just the right amount. Be able to control that down. Try again here. The short wheelbase definitely adds to the challenge on this one. Hard to get the front wheels up, and still, there we go. So I have to turn on this slab and catch those gates. I think I'll be able to use that crab steer on this one. Hopefully it will pay off and I'll just be able to work my way sideways. Yep, no problem. Plenty of grip, sweet. Now heading for some more rocks. Hopefully the sun isn't too bad. I know it's not in the best place for this. I'm trying to stand in spots that won't give you too much glare, but that's hard to do sometimes when you want to be able to see the rocks. And I want to be able to see the rocks too, so I can drive better than I'm driving right now anyway. Try to get this thing squared up so I can catch this next line just right. There we go, a little reset. Some sloppy driving there for you for sure, but hey, I'm not the best driver. I just have fun. So I'm gonna make some mistakes. And this one, you can see how much those rear tires are moved to the side, and I have it in the center, so there's a bit of flex in the system, some slop in the system, and the 422 Reef servos are good, but not great after using something stronger. It makes me wish I had something stronger all around. Oh, I just rode right over that gate. That was a weak mistake. Let's get up this and move on. Most of this trail is going right in the direction of the sun, so I'll do my best to keep it watchable, but definitely not ideal for filming anyway. I am running a 3800 kV Castle motor in this rig, and with the Knightrunner tires and wheels, it actually wasn't that crazy fast. Now it's probably more than you need. Could tame it down and gain some low speed control, which I might do if I leave this setup in it and run these bigger tires. Oh, big mistake there, but pulls out of it okay. We're not counting reverses today, so not too worried about that, but I would like to minimize them, that's for sure. It's always one goal, although I'm using a bunch right now for this, which I didn't think would be a problem. Need to get those rears over to the left, and it should go right up. There we go. Just rushing the line choice. This line, I don't think it's going to be able to pull off. My SCX-10 barely was able to. It was just long enough, but having a longer wheelbase definitely helps here. You can see the rear tweaking the wrong way. I'll try to bring it to the left and then straighten it out, but it's just going to loop out. I just know that it's not quite gonna work. Maybe I'll come back and try it some more, but I don't want to get hung up too long there for this video anyway, so we will continue on. I think this line might need a little bit different of an approach than my other rig. It wants to roll, it's a little more tippy. I might have to find another way through this one. Maybe a bit of a side entry will work, but still that's pushing it on the edge of what it is capable of, but I think it might pull through this one. Do I risk four-wheel steer? I'm going for it. Hopefully it will be just enough to pull off this corner, hang in the front, twisting the whole truck, but making it through. All right, not bad. A little different, but sometimes that's what you got to do. Now I'm cruising on up to the next obstacle, and you might not be able to tell, but there is some slop in the rear end. It wants to kind of flop back and forth a little bit. Doesn't stay perfectly straight, especially at speed. It's pretty bad, so you probably don't want to go too fast with it, but it can be a good time at slow speeds, like you have to go to get through this tree here. I'm actually pretty surprised how well it pulled through there. I figured you'd want a longer wheelbase, but being skinnier, it didn't have to go up quite so high, so that was sweet. Well, I wouldn't call this rig a fail, but it definitely wasn't as good or as capable as I was expecting and hoping. I think you would want a stronger servo with a less sloppy rear end for a better four-wheel steer setup, but it was a fun test. Had a good time with it. It does have some potential, but it kind of just makes me want a true four-wheel steer setup, so let me know what you guys think I should do next with it, or with any truck, really. Thanks for watching.